Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Felicity here, and in this video I'm going to talk about the 12th house. So if you're interested in astrology, many of you have heard about the meaning of 12th house, and 12th house can be many things, and in this video I'm going to focus on two things: spirituality or escapism. Okay, and 12th house can be a really spiritual house because 12th house is the liberation houses, and after going through the 7th house to 11th house, you arrive at the 12th house. You are expected to have a spiritual understanding of certain things, but if you have not learned how to manage the 12th house, and whenever some planets transit to your 12th house, it can cause you a lot of burdens. This can be emotional burdens as well as mental burdens. Okay, so whenever a planet transits to your 12th house, it is the planet telling you what you need to manage, what you need to revisit from the 7th house to the 11th house. Alright, and so 12th house oftentimes can be misinterpreted, because sometimes I read some article about spirituality. It seems that sometimes people may have some kind of misunderstanding of the 12th house, the misunderstanding of spirituality. Okay, and so here are the things that you need to understand about spirituality, about the 12th house. And sometimes some article talks about, okay, maybe you can just follow a guru, you can follow some spiritual teacher, or you do some kind of ritual such as fasting or meditation, and then you understand God or understand the divine better. And or sometimes people or spiritual teachers, those spiritual teachers may talk about visiting temples, or just go to some retreat, or just go to some very remote or isolated places to find God or to find the divine plan for yourself. But then it can be misunderstood by people. Okay, and sometimes we feel so comfortable being alone, or feel so comfortable in living in a very confined places, that we are not willing to go outside to interact with people, to interact with the world. And that's one kind of escapism. That's one kind of escape route for people who do not want to face reality. And so we need to really understand spirituality. Spirituality is not just about isolating yourself and going to some confined places and then just do some spiritual things, or wear some spiritual clothes and then you become a spiritual teacher, or you become a very spiritual person. It is not like that. But of course you would like to dress like a very spiritual clothing, or very Zen clothing. That is alright. It doesn't mean that, okay, just because how you dress will define how spiritual you are. So let go of the idea about spiritual things. You do not need to follow certain kind of rules, or certain kind of ritual, or certain kind of routine in order to be spiritual. So spiritual is not about how you dress. It's not about what kind of things you do in order to get closer to God. And spirituality is about managing what the houses in your birth chart, from 7th to 11th house, and you learn all the things from 7th to 11th house, and then you arrive to the 12th house. Sometimes people would like to escape. They use spirituality as an excuse for escape. Okay, sometimes people may use alcohol, sometimes people may use drug to escape the responsibility, or to escape the things that they need to deal with from 7th house of their birth chart to the 11th house of their birth chart. For example, 7th house is about dealing with an individuality. It's about interacting with an individual and partnering up with an individual. Some people may think that it's too troublesome. It's better to escape to the 12th house, to live by yourself and never interact with the outside world. And okay, and what about 8th house? How can you deal with the 8th house? 8th house is about ups and downs, sudden changes in life. It's about maybe losing job, maybe it's about losing someone that you love, maybe about losing some kind of financial gain. Okay, so we all need to deal with the 8th house, sudden changes. And how can you how you face it? If you understand the spiritual way of dealing of the 7th house through the 11th house, you feel better when planet transit to your 12th house. Okay, so 8th house is the first step to understand 12th house, because 12th house is also about the unknown. Okay, if you can manage well about your 8th house, about certain changes, about the unknown, so 8th house is also about the unknown of the future, the sudden change of the future. So you know, before you experience 12th house, you also understand the 8th house. Okay, is the unknown. So 8th house, how can you manage it better? You can manage by detachment. Practice the exercise. Okay, practice detachment. What is detachment? Detachment is, it means that whenever things or whenever people that you interact with, whatever things or people that are sent to you, you need to understand that it's just temporary. Whatever you experience is just temporary. It's like a cycle. You know, cycle will just like the wind, it comes and goes. So people or things comes and goes, and it's the memory, it's the experience that you have that is permanent. You know, when you are ready to let go of this physical body and go back to the spirit, like means physical death, and then you take the memory with you, take the wisdom that with you, and so you understand the letting go and understand the 8th house things. So this is the first step of practicing detachment. Just like something that is handed to you to take care of. You know, you just take care of things, just like the museums takes care of the ancient things. Okay, the museum does not own anything that is ancient. They are taking care of things to show, to exhibit to others, to learn. So that is the 8th house. What about the 9th house? 9th house is about the wisdom. It's about the philosophical understanding of life, so that you gain wisdom. And also it's about higher learning. That means that in your whole life you never stop learning. All right, what about the 10th house? Okay, 10th house is about career. It's about your foot on the ground. Okay, how solid can you step on this ground in this 3D world? Okay, and spirituality is not about letting go of career, letting go of your place in the world. All right, so it's about, you know, finding your feet on the ground in this 3D world, and also building an image for yourself, and also having a certain map. You know, what do you want to achieve in your career, or what do you want to be viewed by the outside world? Okay, so the 10th house is about all the hard work that you really do physically in this world. So you cannot escape the 10th house. Okay, sometimes people may have a little bit of misunderstanding of the 10th house. Okay, spirituality is not about a career, it's not about you know, fulfilling your career. Sometimes maybe people who have a good job may not feel fulfilled spiritually. Yes, that is true, but then, you know, when you can combine spirituality with your career, then it can be very good. You know, like have the understanding, spiritual understanding of the career. How can you deal with the people in your work situation? Like, will you will you step on other people's back? You know, when you will step other on their back just to get ahead in your career? Or what about others stepping stepping you on your back? Will you forgive them? And that is the spiritual understanding of the 10th house. Okay, now let's look at the 11th house. 11th house is about desire. You know, sometimes some kind of spiritual understanding is not 100% true. That is, you know, let go of the desire, let go of our own ambitions in life. And that is, you know, I feel that that is not very true, because, you know, you as a spirit in your body in this dimension, it's meant to experience some kind of desire. For example, by understanding the desire, by experiencing, okay, what you want and what you don't want, and understanding your desire, how you achieve your desire, how to fulfill your desire, you actually come to understand God, come to understand the divine. Why? Because like if you have never put yourself in the place of temptation, you will never understand temptation. You will never understand whether you will have a spiritual understanding of temptation. For example, if you do not go out of your house, if you never interact with others, and you never go out of the house, and you will not understand whether someone dropped the wallet, whether you pick up the wallet and give it back to the other person. Okay, I need to stop my dog from coming in. Sorry. Okay, and so desire, it's meant for you to learn, all right? Desire is not meant for you to suppress. So you need to go outside, not just stay inside a temple or a church and isolate yourself. Okay, I can tell you, even the monks, they need to receive gases in their temple in order to act with others, in order to learn the reality, and by listening to others, by listening to other people's life or their problems. So do not, you know, misinterpret that the monks just isolate themselves and just meditate just to worship God or worship the divine. No, they will receive gases into the temple, interact with the people outside. And so when you have not learned about, you know, you never let yourself in the presence of a temptation, how can you know that you can deal with temptation, right? So you need to go outside and face the temptation that may place on your path. All right, so you know, how can you know that you will not just pick up the people's belongings and then run away? Okay, when you see someone dropping the wallet, how can you know that you will just pick up the wallet and give it back to them? Okay, if you have never had this kind of experience, and you will not understand the spiritual understanding of the temptation. All right, so this is the 11th house. How can you understand temptation? How can you understand desire? And whether you have a spiritual understanding of desire. When you have spiritual understanding of desire, you will just follow the divine, and you will not force the desire to manifest. Okay, you just follow the divine guidance. If you have it, if you can achieve, fulfill your desire, it's fine. If you can't, then you just let it go, and not to blame the divine or not to blame yourself or others. Okay, so it's better for all of us to really put ourselves out there, to interact with people, to learn about the real meaning of the 7th house to 11th house. Why not about the first house to the 6th house? I mean, I think the first house to 6th house, it's about the self. It's about taking care of your whole physical body. So for example, first house is about taking care of your opinions. The second house is about how you value yourself. Third house is about your speech, how you communicate with others, your communication skills. Fourth house is about your inner peace. It's also about your physical temple as well as your physical house. And the 5th house is about your creativity, and it's about, you know, children, how you take care of your own inner child. 6th house, it's about your physical health. Okay, your routine, your exercise. Okay, so first house to 6th house is about the whole holistic physical manifestation of the spirit instead of others. Okay, from 6th house to 11th house is the houses for you to train your spirituality, the understanding of spirituality. So I hope that you will not turn yourself, just misunderstand what spirituality means. Okay, spirituality, it's not about escapism. If you just go to some mountain or forest to isolate yourself, that is escapism. That is one type of escape. And another type of escape is addiction. It's about turning to alcohol and or drug, just to use substance for you to forget about the burdens, forget about the responsibility that you have from 7th house to 11th house. So what else? Yeah, just go outside to enjoy, to experience life, and not worry too much about other things. That is the way to understand God. That is the way to connect with the divine. Why? Because when you interact with the outside world, actually you are interacting with the divine. Why? Because every person that you meet on this earth, every experience that you encounter on this earth is the manifestation of the divine. And by facing the divine, by facing the reality, by having the experience, by encountering people, you are encountering the divine. You are experiencing the divine, just like the divine intended to be. Because this world and the experience sent to you and the people that are sent to you is the manifestation of the part of the divine. Because every spirit in this world, in this realm, it's the sparks of life, it's the sparks of the divine. All right, so so you need to present yourself, to live yourself, and not to withdraw yourself from this 3D world, from this reality. And so not to just misunderstand that, okay, just by meditate, just by going to temple, and now you suddenly find the divine, you suddenly experience some kind of euphoric or some kind of grand experience from the divine. And it won't happen that way. And it happened the way by experience the 7th house to the 11th house. And okay, so I think that's all I would like to say for this video. Thank you for watching, and sorry about the disturbance that is caused by my dog. And thank you for watching. Have a nice week. Bye bye.